It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sam Lesante Show. Folks, another great health show for you today. I'm on location at the Cardiac Rehabilitation Center here at the Health and Wellness Center in Hazleton. Folks, you're going to learn today about what they have available, and I keep telling you, Lehigh Valley Network just keeps raising the bar, We have some patients who have been through the program, and we're going to talk about the program specifically. Remember, in the greater Hazleton area on HD now, channel 513. My email is sam@ssptv.com. So let's start the program off with the main person, well, with many main people, I shouldn't say that, Corinne Stone. And Corinne is the Cardiac Rehab Exercise Physiologist. I said that without even making a mistake.
Yeah, how about it? Very good.
Okay,
good.
So let me ask you something again.
Sure.
What is this Cardiac Rehab Center?
Okay, Cardiac Rehab is a medically supervised outpatient program to help patients that had either heart surgery or are diagnosed with a heart diagnosis to help them improve their health and well-being through exercise and education. What we do is patients come in, we have them hooked up to a heart monitor, which is then interfaced with our telemetry system, and we're able to monitor their heart rate, heart rhythm, blood pressure while they exercise.
Okay, now who qualifies for this program?
Patients that have had heart surgery, from a heart attack, whether they had angioplasty, stent, valve replacement, valve repair, open heart bypass surgery. We even had patients come through that had heart transplant, and some of the diagnoses that patients come through on, like congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, to name a few, angina. That's another diagnosis too.
All right, so how does a patient sign up for this?
Okay, couple ways. They can either, first of all, again, check with their physician, whether it's the cardiologist or family doctor, then they would refer them to our program. We would do an initial evaluation on them, and that's actually the first step before they come through our program. Or they can either stop in, we're here at Suite 107 of the Health and Wellness Center, or they can give us a call, whether they either call 570-501-4LVH, or even our department number, 570-501-6953.
So if I'm a person who had maybe surgery maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I'm feeling good, but I still like to have something checked. I mean, do they come here or do they go to their doctor?
Usually we instruct patients, check with the doctor first. See what the doctor wants them to do, what type of program, and then when they have questions, they can contact us, again, whether at our number here or else at the main Lehigh Valley Hospital number, and we can direct them to either, to initial evaluation for our program, or maybe they need to see their physician first.
Okay, so what is the process here when like, for example, when they first come here, like there's a 12-week program.
Yes.
Like, how is outline that for me?
What they do is, again, the first step is initial evaluation. After the evaluation, once we obtain medical...
Excuse me, but you already have records from
yes.
the doctor. Okay,
yes.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking from that step.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you know whether whether it's a bypass, whether it's a stent, etc.
Absolutely.
Are there degrees of rehabilitation for different patients?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All the patients are what we call risk stratified. Okay. So depending on their risk level depends on their program, how we progress the exercise prescription. And we keep in close contact with their cardiologist and their family doctor. We work with them to design what exercise program's best for them.
Okay, so everything is monitored. So does insurance cover this?
Yes. Patients that have Medicare, they generally covers 80% of the program, with the secondary covering 20%. With the other insurances can either cover 80 to 100% of the program. We actually have insurance verifiers who will call and verify insurance coverage for the patients and find out about like co-pays, deductibles, out-of-pockets, whether they need pre-cert or authorization. So that's all taken care of before the patients start our program.
Now, in this place, I'm seeing a lot of great equipment, okay? Are there any specific types of exercise equipment that you use for cardiac?
Yes. As you can see, we have treadmills. We have arm cranks, which is a good machine for upper body-wise. We have a new step machine, which is a popular machine that works your upper and lower body. We have recumbent bicycles, an upright bike, which we're standing next to, rowing machine. We have dumbbell weights in the back, and also resistance bands. And everything's individually progressed. We start patients out slow and progress them as tolerated. Some patients come in, they might not be able to do a treadmill, or they might not be able to do a bicycle.
So it's tailor-made to everyone?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
That's good. So you have all trained people here, they're monitored, etc., and everything's specifically categorized to what your needs are, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Corinne, thank you for much for your information.
Thank you.
Corinne Stone, folks, she's a cardiac rehab exercise physiologist. Now, we're going to talk to Feddock, who is a registered nurse. Now let's talk to Carly Feddock. She's a registered nurse here at the Cardiac Rehabilitation Center program, which is going here. So Carly, so tell me about the staff you have here.
Well, our medical director is Dr. Stephen Wolk. We also have a cardiac director, Barbara Hunsinger. She's a RN. We have 2 exercise physiologists, Corinne Stone and Amanda Sperduto. Myself, registered nurse, Carly Feddock, and 2 other nurses, Joan Corelli and Karen Fuchs as well.
So let me ask you, what do you do here as a registered nurse, and why is it important?
As a registered nurse in cardiac rehab, we work with the exercise physiologist and the patients on developing a safe and progressive exercise program after a cardiac event. We monitor their EKG, their blood pressure, medications, any other comorbidities they might have going on. We do education involving nutrition, medications, exercise, and we help them set goals for why they're in rehab and for the future as well.
That's a good point. So you do the whole entire program where, nutrition, exercise program, and it's assessed, and it's done the right way, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that, again, as I was talking to Corinne, we're talking about different categories here. Okay, someone may come in with a stent or bypass or whatever, so they're all, again, tailor-made, and then you're able to tell them what their program is. Is that the way it works?
Yes, and even to go along with people that have other problems as well. So some people might come in not only with heart problems, but osteoarthritis, and we'll tailor the program even more. So say they can't walk on the treadmill, but they can do 2 bicycles instead. That's how specific, we try to look at the whole overall picture and see what would be best to help strengthen their heart.
So that's where the assessment comes in. Okay,
Yes.
And I would think that's critical because each person is an individual. You may have a person who is a little bit heavier, lighter, so you're able to, again, structure exactly what they have, and they're monitored at all time. And there's a doctor here in case something can happen. Yeah. So that's critical that's your part of the job, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You're busy, aren't you?
Yes, very busy.
I saw you. You're just, you're doing a lot here.
Yep.
Well, I got to say, all the people here are just wonderful, and you make people feel good, which is important. Because, I'm the biggest baby walking the fence. My blood pressure would be like 190 over 120. It just happens.
Yeah.
But to make people at ease and calm, which is important. Keep the good work up, okay?
Thank you.
Carly Feddock. Okay, now let's talk to Amanda. Okay, now we'll be talking to Amanda Sperduto, who is the exercise physiologist. What's an exercise physiologist?
We went to school and we basically watch all of the patients while they're exercising. So our classes were in like kinesiology, movement sciences. I had a couple that were in just cardiac rehab, how to tailor and make exercise prescriptions for patients.
That's terrific. Now, after someone completes the program, what's the next step for the patient?
Upstairs in the fitness center at the Health and Wellness Center, we offer what's called a Phase 3 program. So what that Phase 3 program is you still have an exercise physiologist watching you while you're exercising. They're just no longer on the telemetry monitor. So it's kind of like a stepping stone for them to join a fitness center on their own. So they still have somebody coming in, they're checking their heart rates, checking their blood pressures, helping them to become more independent with their exercise, and then eventually, hopefully getting them to be able to exercise on their own in a fitness center.
So I notice now that there's different types of fitness programs,
Yes.
okay? And again, sometimes, people wonder, well, I don't want to do this, I can't do this, so tell me about these different programs.
Upstairs, we have a couple of different programs. Like I said, we have the Phase 3 program. We just recently got Silver Sneakers in our fitness center as well.
What's that?
Silver Sneakers is a program run through insurances. And if you have a certain insurance, the insurance actually will pick up the cost of your exercising for you. So they would just have to contact their insurance company and see if that's one of the benefits of their plan. We also do offer month-to-month memberships, 3-month memberships, 6-month or yearly memberships upstairs as well. And they all have to go through an evaluation. So with that evaluation, we find out more about their medical needs, and then they get 2 training sessions with one of our exercise physiologists to show them how to correctly use all of the equipment upstairs and what's safe and not safe for them.
So you highly recommend, once they're done with this program, to go into the other exercise program upstairs?
Yes. Or if they can't do that, to just make sure that they keep exercising and keep moving, because if they don't, they're going to lose any of the gains that they made down here in the program.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to be, have someone say, okay, you got to do this, 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 and this. Okay, when someone says, well, just do this or do that, sometimes I get confused. Okay, so do you have a prescribed program for people who are being discharged so they know, look, at least walk 3 times a week, do this or do that?
Yes. Before a patient is discharged from the program, we, either myself, Corinne, Carly, sit down with them and we go over a home exercise guide. So it gives them all the information that they would need as far as how many times a week they should exercise, at what intensity, where they should keep their heart rates at, and danger signals that they should look for as well.
Fabulous. So how about nutrition?
Nutrition, we go over that as well with them, just making sure that they keep on a heart healthy diet as well. It's the same thing with the exercise. If they were only going heart healthy for the time they were here, and then after that they stopped, it's the same thing. They're going to lose any benefit that they made.
Well, give me a quick tidbit here. What's a rule of thumb for people who are not going to cardiac or just normal people out there? What should they be doing each week?
Each week, they say moderate physical activity for at least 30 minutes on most days of the week. So.
And what's moderate physical activity?
Moderate, kind of where you would want to be with that activity. So you're exerting yourself a little bit, but you can still, it's called a talk test. You can still carry on a conversation, but you're not out of breath that you need to stop.
So walking is great.
Walking is great. Exercise, bike riding is a great exercise. Swimming or low impact
How about
aerobic.
running the sweeper at home, helping your wife out and your husband out or whatever?
That's like an activity of daily living. You want to still make time to say go out for that walk
so that
or go for that bike
me,
ride.
So I can't do that once a week.
No, you need to get out. You need to get out and walk there, Sam.
Well, you guys do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's Amanda Sperduto. She's exercise physiologist, folks. We got a lot more. We're going to talk to some patients who were here and used the cardiac program. It's just a great facility, as I said. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. We were up here at the Cardiac Rehab Program at the Health and Wellness Center. Now, folks, you heard a little bit about the Rehab Center. Today, we have some people who actually participated here, and we're here to find out just exactly how the program was. With me is we have Susan Student, Jeffrey Stock, and James Kudo. So let me start with you, Susan.
Yes.
What happened to you?
Well, what happened to me, I was going home from work, and I just felt lightheaded crossing Church Street. So I decided I better sit down on the coping, wait for the bus. And I just knew something was going to happen. I just didn't feel right. And if it wasn't for these 2 men, they saw me go down, and they stopped their car right on Church Street, and they tried to wake me up. And if it wasn't for Nelson and Jose, they didn't speak English, but they were there. And they called the ambulance and everything, and I wouldn't go with them. I told them it was my hypoglycemia. So I learned one thing: do not diagnose yourself. I came home, I called my niece up, and she said, get dressed. I said, I just took a shower. She said, you mean you went in the shower? I said, yep. Took the bus home. I wouldn't get in the ambulance. And I said, she said, get dressed. I'm taking you right up to the hospital. They did tests, and they told me that I needed heart surgery. And I told them, no, it's the patient next to me, not me. Oh. I didn't believe it. I said, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I just worked. I felt fine all day working.
You got lightheaded, right?
I got lightheaded. That's the only sign I had. And I was blaming it on hypoglycemia and all different things. So when I went to the hospital, they did the catheterization. Yeah. And they did the ultrasound, and they found that I had to have my aortic valve replaced, and I had 1 blockage. So I had that done by Dr. Stella, and I did the rehab up there, and then they suggested that I have it done up here again, so I did the 12-week program.
Okay. So when you came here, okay, well, let me go back a little bit. So how old were you when
I was 71.
So this just recently happened? Yeah. Okay. When they prescribed rehab and you came here to the Wellness Center, yes. What was the program like? The
program was great. If it wasn't for the girls that work here and for Dr. Chickermani, I think that's her name. Yes. Yeah. I did it Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday for 1 hour. But they're very patient with you, and I think it's the best thing I ever did, because after I came home, I always had a fear that I wouldn't be able to walk, I wouldn't be strong enough. But I made sure I came to the 12-week program, which is great. And then I walked them all. I do that like 10,000 steps. I try to do that all the time. But, and to keep active, to keep moving, do not sit. Get up and walk every day, even if you're at home. Do not sit all the time. Between going down the cellar, doing laundry, walking up and down steps, I find I feel a lot better. But if it wasn't for this program, I don't know what would happen to me, I'll tell you. Now coming here and makes you appreciate how good this program is for everybody, because you do need it. Don't say, oh, I feel fine, I'm not going to do it anymore. You have to do your program.
Nervous when you first started off? I mean,
Very scared when I first started off. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but they're very patient with you. And they know your limits. They know if you have to stop and sit down a few minutes, especially when you first start, you're scared on doing it. But I feel much more better with the program.
And they're monitoring you as well. So
monitoring me all the time, all the time. Every time I get off a machine or if I do the treadmill or whatever, they do check you out at all times. But I'm happy that I did come here.
You look great, Susan.
Well, thank you.
You're set for another 30 years.
I hope so.
Then you're on your own,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Let me talk to Jeffrey Stock now, okay? If you just move over there, Susan, and bring Jeffrey. Jeffrey, how are you?
All right, Sam.
Sure, he just comes back from a vacation. He's all suntanned, and here we are, pale.
Yeah.
How was your vacation?
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. 90-degree weather.
Oh, man, I tell
Can't beat it.
Well, you know what? You work hard enough, at Bonins,
Yeah.
so you have to unwind a little bit.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
You have to unwind.
Nice.
Now, I remember hearing about you having some heart surgery or whatever done a while back. How many years ago was that?
2009.
What happened?
Well, I went up to the hospital on business as an ER, and one of the nurses, Patty Morrow, was an ER nurse at the time, she says, hey, your face is all flush and it's not a suntan, there's something wrong. I said, no, I'm just busy and a little short of breath. And she said, well, I think you should hook up with your family doctor and get a stress test done. So we made arrangements to get the stress test done, and got the test done, and comes back, he says, we didn't like the results, so we're gonna schedule you, with a cardiologist. So they did. Make a long story short, they'd go in, do a catheterization, find 2 blockages, one 95% blockage of the LAD, another 100% blockage. So the cardiologist told me, he says, you have an angel watching over you, because they said if we wouldn't have found that, you would have been dead by the end of the year.
Wow.
Wow. And they put the stents in, and feel good.
So then you came to this program.
Yeah. I was here and they were all terrific. I said, every single one of the girls that, here, the nurses, I said, they monitor you. I said, I did my 12-week program too. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I said, and they taught you how to eat right, exercise, and have nothing but good things to say about them.
Yeah. Now
I'm a repeat offender.
Yeah.
I went back the second time. Yeah.
You didn't learn your lesson the first time.
I was back last year. I got 2 more stents put in. So we went through the whole program again, but it's fantastic.
You're hypertensive, like me. You were always going. You're always doing.
Yeah, always on the run, morning till night. Yeah.
And you're busy as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But the program really helped you out a lot here.
Oh yeah. Always made time for it. No matter what my schedule was in the afternoon, I used to come from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5. Always made time to come here and exercise and follow the procedures and everything they recommended.
How you doing now?
Good. Feel good.
Well, I gave Susan 30. We have to give you 32 at least.
Hopefully, I have my first heart attack at 44.
Yeah.
I'll be 51, so hopefully I get another 30 at least.
Well, you look good with your son.
Yeah, okay.
I wish you the best
All
of
right,
health.
thank
okay.
you.
So, now I'm going to talk to Jim. Jim Kerr, come over here, Jim. Jim, if you recall, I think it was a year and a half ago we talked, right? Was it here or upstairs?
Upstairs.
Upstairs, right. So, Jim, what happened to you? This is Jim Kerr, folks. What happened to you?
Well, I come off a stressful job. I was the environmental manager and safety administrator for Consolidated Edison, dealing with all the regulatory agencies. And if you deal with the government on a regular basis, there's no way you're going to be healthy. It's just annoying. So what had happened is I had gone to my doctor. I had my first heart attack at 42. Now,
what happened? Was shortness of breath, pain?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
I didn't feel anything. You're gonna laugh. I had just finished eating 4 frankfurters. Okay. And at that time I was 225 pounds.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I just thought it was the Italian word agita.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Know that word well.
And I just laughed it off. But my bosses were looking at me and saying, there's something wrong with you. So they got my secretary and said, he can't drive home. Take him home. I'm still fighting it. I get home.
Yeah.
Don't bother me with this, My wife comes in the house, sees me with the secretary there, and she says, what happened? She says, they want him at the hospital. They take me to the hospital, and with the blood enzymes, they found out I had the heart attack. I survived it, not even knowing it.
When they saw you, were you pale or what was it?
Gray. You know, when you get gray, you get
right.
gray. Then the second time it happened, I was like 52, and I was at the doctor's office doing the stress test, and he said, Jim, you're not going to make it till December. I want you in the hospital now.
And you were 200 some pounds.
Yeah, it was like 220, 225.
Yeah.
So he says, I want you in the hospital now. I says, well, I don't want to stay here in the city. I says, you know, I live in Pennsylvania. He says, I have a colleague, friend of mine, Dr. Theodore from Lehigh Valley. He says, I'll call him, get down to the hospital down there. He says, I don't even want you to drive there, but he says, but you're so thick. So I went down to the hospital. They had all my records electronically. I mean, Dr. Theodore, I met him the first time. I thought I knew him for 20 years. They were very good, the staff. And in this case, they saved my life because I had a triple bypass. I was blocked all over the place and didn't even know it. Didn't even feel it. You know, that's the way it was.
So you had the triple bypass. Okay, so then you had to go to rehab.
That was in August 4 years ago. So then by September, I came here. And I know Mrs. Stone like 25, 30 years, a long-time friends. And we started the program here, which was 12 weeks. It's an inclusive program. You get education, you get about diet, you get about stress management, you know, and the entire program is geared around you. And they do watch you. And then I went upstairs to the gym, and that was like another 4-week program where they monitor you. And the minute they seen you lifting a weight or doing something you weren't supposed to do, they were on you because they get the orders from the doctor, not allowed to lift so much weight, et cetera, et cetera. And they do keep track. And now I've stayed at the gym. I go 3 times a week about, I guess it's going to be 4 years.
You get addicted to it, don't you? Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? It becomes a place where you make a lot of friends.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and you get to talk to people who are in the similar condition as you are.
Well, it's great to have a facility like this and have the great trained people here.
Well, they're doing well with this because Lehigh now is coming in with, they opened up in Mountaintop.
Yes.
They opened up in several other areas in Stroudsburg. And you're bringing in all kinds of facilities, cancer centers, and everything else that this program needs. I mean, Hazleton is getting what it should have had years ago.
Well, I wish you the best, Jim. It's always nice seeing you.
Always good to see you, Brother Sam.
Good health to you, okay? You got another 30-some years to go yet, okay?
I got 30 left.
Yeah, gotta give you 30. I'm passing 30 out like crazy.
Okay, good. Thank you.
My pleasure. As you hear, folks, great rehabilitation program here, cardiac program. We're here at the Health and Wellness Center, and now we'll do a little recap of the show. Okay, folks, so let's recap, okay, what we did here today. We're at the cardiac rehab program, and back with me is Corinne. Corinne, so tell me again, how does someone get in touch with you? What are the goals of the program?
Okay, well, first of all, with the goals of the program for each patient, we want to help them increase their strength and their endurance. The heart's a muscle, so which better way to train the muscle is with the exercise. We also wanted to see the patients return to like their activities of daily living, you know, get back to doing the housework, the yard work, the recreational activities. We had some of my fellow running friends come through, you know, they were able to return to running. We want to get them back to work, you know, back to school. You know, the education's the key. We want to, you know, try to help these patients to avoid having a secondary events. So they're the main goals of the program.
You know, my wife's a registered nurse, Debbie. So, and what she does, you know, when she said, Sammy, when you're going up the steps, down the steps, doing the cleaning, you know, I run the sweeper just to get extra. So I mean, you'd be surprised, you know, like student said, you know, you got to keep moving, okay,
sure,
and that's important.
Sure.
You'd be surprised how much exercise you get from just going up the steps,
stuff like that,
doing all the
right?
stuff.
Sure.
Okay. So how do we get in touch with this program?
You can actually give us a call here in the clinic at 570-501-6953 or call the main Lehigh Valley number at 570-501-4LVH.
Well, Corinne, keep the good work up, okay?
Thank you.
They all love you here. You know, they love everybody here, folks, okay?
Good team here, real good team.
We're at the cardiac rehabilitation program here at the Rehab Center at the Health and Wellness Center, which is, again, Lehigh Valley Network just keeps raising the bar up and up. Hope you learned something today. Remember, if you need any information, get in touch with them. We'll see you next time.